Hello. So today I want to read again from a part I've written an article about a man's part in the orgasmic birth of his woman. Um, Childbirth is such a big thing, but it's all put into the side of the woman, and the man he does his job, and then that's it. And I think there's so much more that we can do to fuse this bonding process much closer together, back into a triangle where there is the mother, the father, and the child together, and that their parts in it are much more interwoven, which builds to which helps to build a much stronger bond where love from can really blossom. um, and the power of that can be taken into all the stages that are there of pregnancy, of the birth process, of then the actual growing up of the toddler, because these reference points, they're instilled within our psyche, within our subconscious, and so often we're not conscious of. But can you imagine the feeling that the woman would say, it's my baby because look, I have done all of this. So if she has done, which naturally is completely understandable, but if she has done all of that, what is the part that the man so far hasn't done? Out of whatever reason, don't want to go into it, why it is that way. But I think, particular as a sexologist, of someone who really looks into the deeper, into the more sacred things of sexuality and that expression and that bonding capacity that it can have through intimacy. What can be done to bring this closer together? The roles are shifting, and the women are taking more and more roles what men normally used to do. But very few are shifting in the other way and allowing themselves now to embrace also the feminine, the weaker side. And I think this is really, really important. So anyway, here's my part on of how we can help to bring something to the table that maybe hasn't been conscious of. And I want to invite all men and also women to empower and motivate their men to do their part in helping and to set up their bodies to train and get their bodies into that shape, men as well as women, to create an even greater experience, so that this, for me, terrible quick act of cesareans that are growing in numbers, that we're returning back to natural birth, that we're turning back to the way how nature has made us, that the fear of complications or the fear that we wouldn't be capable of is not overgrowing our desire to really go into orgasmic birthing and delivering children of God into paradise, into heaven on earth, through this cocktail mix of oxytocins and so on that are being released if we can make that neurological switch from pain or trauma into pleasure and joy. So let me read out of what I have written, and you can listen to it, and feel free afterwards to drop me a line, or give me feedback on here, what's happening, how it resonates with you, what you're thinking of it, and maybe what you can do. So looking forward to receive that from you. Here you go. Hey brother, did you know that you have a mighty task in front of you to deliver children of God into heaven on earth? Yes, you too have a part in the orgasmic birth that lays the foundation of how your child's first impression of life will be, of life as a human being here on Mother Earth. Not to mention that your beloved will, subconsciously or not, will hold a limiting belief from the beginning that places the baby closer to her side. As she has done all of the work, of course this makes sense in a way, but here I'm speaking of an energetic thing that is between you and her yourself, and the baby. For too long, the job or business was the man's project, and the children belonged to the woman's stuff. And after all, what would you know about a woman's body? Don't get into that discussion. However, the opportunity is not so much about what you can tell her, rather than what you can bring to the table. What can you do for her that helps her to create a different experience? That selfless effort is what makes, in her eyes, afterwards all the difference. So what can you do for her to help her to get onto a new neurological pathway in her body-mind connection that prepares her and allows her to have an orgasmic birth experience? The orgasmic birth is a symbolic for birthing a Christ into this world. A Christ being a child of God, that how would it be any other way, is being placed into paradise, or as we call it, into heaven on earth. Finally, having arrived here on earth, he or she will have an orgasmic reference point of, wow, this is great, here I am. Sadly, many births hold a different first impression of what life is all about in this world. A stressful or even traumatic birth brings immediately with it a mountain to climb. And his or her life will immediately begin with, here, I have to do something, i.e., I have to get back even or to return to a harmonious state of being. Emotionally, that translates into, here, I'm not welcome, this world is hostile and dangerous. Or all that pain just because of me, it's my fault. Or even there is something wrong with me. I'm not good enough, hence not lovable. Please remember to see this as a painted picture, not a scientific rational text. It transports energetic information to the core of its cells. A child of God will always have the tendency to bring forth its Christ nature, as much as a sinner will have the tendency to feel deep down, no matter what he or she has done, that it isn't good enough, that it is just somehow not right. Isn't that the actual fall from grace out of the Adam and Eve story? In one moment you're still in paradise where the Father provides everything you need, and then something happens and everything has changed forever. There is no turning back, it seems, and therefore you're damned to live from there on a life as a child of a human. And from there on, you will learn that your parents, your father and your mother are just humans. Hence, you must be a human too. And it is here where the huge sadness, grief and depression is activated in a human body that somehow still remembers and wonders what has become of the I am, Christ, and the Father in heaven is one. I'm the one. What has come of that? So, if I haven't lost you by now, I shall come back to the juicy part of my story. Only if you have come so far, you're ready to go past the veil, as you understand, not just with your rational mind, but with your creative feeling and sensing side. Wisdom is the guide that will keep standing beside you when science has come beyond its kingdom. This is a body thing. This is something that comes through your intuition, that comes through pictures, that comes through feelings, that comes through a certain bodily somatic knowing that isn't rational. And that's why I'm saying this. When you step into this, that you can deliver here something, that you can work on a deeper truth, on a deeper longing, on a desire to really to send forth and bring forth and share love energy, then this can't be just rational, because I think love, the unconditionality and the omnipresence, the omnipotence and omniscience of love, you just cannot get into your head. It's impossible. Anyway, to cut a long story short, you, my dear brother, if you like to hear it or not, you have to reclaim your balls. Get them back and strap your balls back on again. You may have by now experienced that a cock isn't really cutting it without having the balls do something extraordinary with it. There is fucking someone, and then there is really penetrating someone, truly touching them, truly allowing them truly allowing that it will also touch you deeply. I always say it's like if you project that I try to fuck someone and give it to them properly, it's like what you actually doing is you try to fuck yourself open. Huh? As it would be that penetrating force would also go onto the inside and kick your heart open so that you can feel more again of all of that. To give yourself fully is the way how you receive fully. And here we get to the saying, what's it worth for he who owns the world but does not have love to his heart? What's it worth to fuck the greatest woman on earth really properly and you're just the man, but not feel love whilst doing it? Dare to make love a woman, dare to make love to a woman, and it will seem that you own the world. It is mad when you're really in love and you have your sexuality prepared in a sense that you freely can enjoy everything that comes with it, i.e. to express yourself with it. You don't need anything anymore. You just need the time and your partner and the desire of diving deeper into this wonderful expression of sharing love and the creative force with it. First things first, and that out of the way, now I want to point your focus onto two things. Onto her cervix and onto her womb. Yeah, forget for a moment her clitoris and her G-spot. These are masculine accelerators. They're great and they should have them and so on, but it's the same with the male masturbation stuff. It's hugely dangerous because they have such a kick, they deliver such a potency, such a quick potency, and that it can be like a drug and it can make you addicted to it. But when you bring your attention and focus and you want to penetrate her cervix and you want to penetrate the deepest, the holy of her holies, the womb space, then there's a different quality to it. That only works really through the heart. Otherwise, you have no interest to go beyond that veil. It is in awakening her cervix where we can build a neurological pathway to the brain and to the heart that wires her for pleasure and orgasmic reference points, which she then can tap into as she goes into the birthing experience. You know, any sensation can be experienced as pleasure or pain. It is scientifically proven that at the top of a roller coaster, two people can have two completely different experiences. Yeah, you know that maybe. Even though their bodies release the same chemical cocktails, the interpretation of it is what makes the difference. The one associates this cocktail with the actual experiencing of height, speed, and dropping into uncertainty as a fearful state, whilst the other experiences the height, speed, and dropping into uncertainty as a joyful and pleasurable state. So basically, the one is sitting there like this, the other one is like raising the arms and saying like, yay, let's go. So if you may have had your prostate touched for the first time, that you may have felt quickly or even immediate unease or pain. But if you continued, relaxed, and gotten into the sensitizing or desensitizing process, then you may have, after a few times, started to feel some pleasure developing. So this is always a process. Yeah, it's just happened not from the one to the next moment, but there is a process to it. There's a part of sensitizing or desensitizing, of getting used to, of removing layers of shame or guilt or whatever judgments you have towards it, to you actually can touch the real feeling that there is there. Basically, you would build a neurological pathway. Initially, this was only individual steps in no man's land. Then it became a trample path, then a road, from there a dual carriageway, and then you build a neurological motorway where millions of sensations could travel to and from in just a blink of an eye. So as wider it gets, as clearer the pathway gets, the quicker and easier it is to access that in either way and throw many of different information through it. And now you have inscribed on these sensations the cellular information of arousal, pleasure, joy, love, and bliss. This is what is going to light up in your brain and in your heart: joy, pleasure, arousal, love, and bliss. Exactly. And this is your responsibility to transfer and instill with your cock the information of arousal, joy, pleasure, love, and bliss onto her cervix by lovingly prodding, touching, caressing, and gently tapping her with the tip of the gland of your penis. When she gets receptible, horny, and the timing is right for her, then her cervix will come down to play and will expose even greater areas of it for you to do your magic on. So you sensitize with the getting in contact, you sensitize her cervix, and therefore it becomes more pliable and it becomes more flexible and it becomes more open to all sorts of stimuli. And remember, your energy is an intention of love energy that you bring forth. So that is alone really high vibrating and therefore healing to a lot of low, dense vibrational things that maybe have attached to the cervix and numb it. Penetrate her anterior or posterior fornix and you will find your penis gland being locked, held into the love lock position. The love lock is something that is hugely pleasurable, where you feel like, whoa, you're now locked in there and she's holding on to you and she's milking you and it's like, oh, here I want to die. And the anterior or posterior fornix is a space to the front and to the back of her cervix that opens up inside her vagina as she's in a state of high and prolonged arousal. So high and prolonged arousal is really important. You know, when you are in intercourse with a woman and you really turn her on, then you can feel suddenly that something happens, like the vagina opens up, the whole walls get squeezed to the outside, the whole cavity becomes completely open. And what also happens is, by the walls who carry a lot of liquid, as they're getting forced onto the outside, the liquid is being squashed into the inside of it and she becomes really wet. And you know when that is, when she's really come to a level and a threshold where she gets really, really horny and she's really in an expansive zone. You feel that down there, that she suddenly says, I'm completely open now, you can do whatever you want with me, I'm ready, I've placed myself in that, just go for it. Huh? So you can feel that, and you feel that on her moisture content. She gets really wet, and her body opens up, and then is actually the real time where she says, like, okay, now do whatever you want with me. Now I'm ready. I feel safe. I can completely surrender. And then you need to have the stamina, and you need to be heat proven to hold that energy, to hold that horniness, that arousal in you, so that you don't burst, and then it's over, but that you can keep her there and can ride the waves over and over again onto the beach, go back onto the next wave, and so on and so forth. So that certainly is a process also that we have to be self-responsible for. You will feel, just try it and feel it, and it's sensational. This is an incredible, intense feeling where you feel as if you have come together as one. That is pretty close to the sacred union, but still it's not the holy grail of it. For this you have to step forward, upward, and into the realms of energy, frequency, and vibration. To transform your material double-sided sword into a lightsaber and wand of light. Light being love energy. I say double-sided, as with your cock, you can choose to bring joy or pain to the receiver. Transfer love or induce fear and fright with it. You can do that consciously or subconsciously. So sometimes you do things that are destructive, even though you have the best intentions, but you just don't know any different. Therefore, it is normally important for you to get to know yourself. Bless those who don't know what they're doing. This is really what the Bible says. It's like, you cannot make someone responsible who hasn't got an idea that they actually do something wrong, or they do something that is not constructive. Yes, ignorance does not protect you from punishment or karma. This is exactly what it is. So it is your highest priority to get to know yourself. Who are you? How do you work with that? How is your energy unfolding in that process? How do you hold? How can you stay present within that? Um, to not have to reap the consequences for what you're doing maybe wrong or not right. So please do seek and get the sexual education that men and women so badly require to do this higher form. How do you want to bring orgasmic children in the world if you have a shamed and a small part of your sexuality only available? I think then we're at the fact where it is now. Then you go into the clinic and the clinic is doing it for you. But you haven't got the physical, the somatic ability to use your body as this vehicle, as a godly vehicle, as a child of God. You can do wonders, so do it. When you have done your homework and have become sensitive enough, and you now can call yourself a man with a feeling cock, you can get on the way to connect with her essence and send forth your loving energy through her cervix into her womb space, from where it is carried towards and into her heart. You may have heard that there is a circular movement where the love between a man and woman gets exchanged and can be circled around in a never-ending spiral into nirvana. This is how you activate the circle and step into physical as well as spiritual union with each other. So this is really important, because there comes a point where the plate is finished, and then life happens beyond the borders of that. So, and that's infinitum. That is the plate is the material plane, but there is so much more with it. And if we can accept that our material cock is just one side of the coin, the other coin is the energetic, it's the spiritual side of it, where we work with a wand of light, with a lightsaber, on an energetic frequency, and we can do so much through the high vibration that we bring into that, through consciousness, through being aware and being present. Oh, there is so much that will come down. Sensational. Anyway. What did I wanted to say as well? With that circular motion, yeah, it is really, really important. And maybe I write this afterwards. To get into the love lock, you will have to do some shifting, maneuvering, and adjusting to do for yourself, and to do it with and for your partner. Ask her to let you in more deeply. If she has done so, ask her again and even beg her to let you in all the way, even deeper, more. Even whisper the magical sesame open into her ear. Repeatedly speak out the word of ephata, 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 to let go of, which with as much humbleness, devotion, and love you can muster. Her soul will remember the meaning of this word. Yeah, I have learned it from a spiritual teacher. In the Aramaic, it's a healing word that you say when someone should let go of any kind of disease or whatever they have. Ephata, let it go. And if you say that to her, she knows subconsciously, energetically, what to do with that. And by letting go of it, she will create a space for you to come closer to her. This letting go of is everything that is contraction within her as a form of protecting herself, which has been built up over thousands of years in a woman's body. Be assured that only your purest of desires will melt away her past trauma that she is carrying inside of her. Personal as much as collective stuff. All the stuff of the witches being burned and you know what? It's just so much harm has been done to women in general. And collectively she's holding that. And by you allowing her and giving her the acknowledgement and witnessing her in that, and being there for her, even if she starts crying or screaming or in that process of letting go, that can be also the case. and you're there and you invite her with your loving energy to like, look, let go, let me deeper in. And it's all about contraction. If her hip flexors are contracted, if her legs are contracted because she tries to prevent and protect her cervix from too much penetration, then she will hold tight and she won't allow you to get into the position. So you have to ask her and you have to remind her that she's in contraction because she doesn't maybe know it. But she wants to receive you, but she doesn't know that she is in contraction. So by you pointing that out to her and let her exhale, she maybe can do that. And you can come deeper and deeper with your loving energy into her, because there's no point of you going when she isn't open and she's not receivable of it. So you have to become one, eye to eye, equal. Be assured that only your purest, we had that. Please do take note that this process of letting go, melting away her personal and collective pain, fear and trauma might take some time. This is something you cannot push or force. And if she feels any doing on your side, then all the effort will leave you with nothing. But be there for her and with her, serve her, be fully present in that moment, and wonders may happen right in front of you whenever the time has come. Remember, she is the holy temple, the well, and it is you who is coming to her to be nourished by her, and it is her who stills your thirst, not the other way around. Or did you ever hear of a story where a thirsty man came along after the hardship of this day, drank from the well, and the well thanked him that he drank from the well? No, but it was the one who had the thirst who was well pleased and grateful to drink from the well when he needed it, right? So that is the essence and the source of the holy well, of the woman as she is, the water element, the elixir that she represents for it. Change your perspective to see the woman rather as a sperm bucket for your lustful, overbearing, uncontrolled, and animalistic desire, to a sacred vessel, holy well, or precious temple that you can go to at any time. Do your heartfelt prayers there, and with that reconcile and heal the past and the present, whilst laying the foundation for a glorious future by orgasmically birthing through your own doing children of God into this world once again. And there's a lot of Christs that we need at this moment of time to transform this earth back into its original state, into paradise or heaven on earth. Remember, it's a state of being. We work in a projective environment. So if we heal on the inside, our stuff, we stop projecting out into the world, and the projection then has to be different. The movie that we are experiencing out in the great world has to be different because we have done our work. It's the easiest way. It's the only way of really healing it. From now on, let the immaculate birth be an enjoyable, pleasurable, and orgasmic natural process without any interference of man's mind, of mankind. The immaculate is something that is coming from the Holy Spirit. It's not shaded, it's pure white light. It's not a cream or a gray or whatever. That's the immaculateness of it. Let it be natural, let it be in pure love, and let the body allow its way to do it. Yes, nowadays we have to let go of some trauma and heal some stuff, but overall it is a true form. Let it be immaculate. Let it be pure and clean and holy in that aspect. Don't involve and interfere too much with man's mind, with mankind. Let it be a godly experience. Trust the Father in heaven. Trust Mother, God, Mother Earth, to help and support you in that. Therefore, love each other and multiply in large numbers. Enjoy every moment of the way. May peace be with you. Rise and shine. So, what do you think of it? Let me know. Speak out. I'm there. Feedback, either way, whatever it is, I look forward to get in contact with you, to speak with you. I hope you have learned something. I hope I could inspire you. I hope I could connect to your heart so that you can share that heart and send it forth out to do tremendous things. Because the heart, the love, this is what you are. So you only have to choose to connect to that and give it. And as you give, you shall receive 1,000-fold over. Thanks for watching. Speak soon.